Yo, what's up, guys? Dark Geralt finally got that one buff that he needed. Finally, actually does do extra attack power rather than extra damage the moment that there's more buffs. So we need 3 buffs to get that 100%, I do assume. Still, the attack power, or like the attack itself, is pretty low, 725. It's more of like a bruiser-ish unit because of the HP type. Doesn't really make too much sense, so let's see how that actually does work out. I've seen some people play it in RTA where it's more of like a CC kind of unit with a little bit of chip damage here and there rather than full on the damage side. But it's still a little bit of an interesting one. I would have rather seen it that if he has 3 buffs that he just simply gets the activation rate up to landing a guaranteed. But let's actually compare this towards the strongest bombers in the game, of the likes of a Libli, which is definitely sitting at a fair bit, like 150 extra base attack already. And the John, which is actually slightly lower attack than Libli in the first place. So let's first compare how much bomb damage does each individual skill have. And then let's see how much damage output we can actually do between either John or Libli. What's the highest? I think that John is probably higher, but it might be on the Libli. Let's actually check Swar Farm. So we're here in Swar Farm. Let's see, what do we have for Mr. John itself? John has a 4.5 multiplier on its 845. Okay. Libli is setting at a 4.0 on a 878. Let's just do a simple calculation of the base attack times the multiplier. It's not really exactly how it works, but just get a brief idea. The other one was this times this. So we do see that John is slightly bit higher on bomb damage in first place. I do think I have better bomb damage up for Libli rather than for John, so I think I'm still going to use Libli to compare it. But keep in mind, John is a little bit higher on the damage. Also has a little bit extra value because of that cooldown reset and 1 bomb being 1 turn. But let's see what's the multiplier of that Geralt. So the base attack, horrendously low. Multiplier is actually showing something weird where it is a 1.9 times 2. So I'm not sure if that is the bomb multiplier or just a hit multiplier, but let's actually see what we can compare that towards a Libli bomb. So just to try out, I'm using the guild battle research thingy because I do not own a Dark Geralt, and I added in a bunch of random units on no stats because bomb damage doesn't really care about defense anyways, but I do want to see the highest hit out of it. The team that we're going to be using is Adriana plus Sierra plus the Bomber. In this case, let's get some triple fight, and why not? Okay, let's see what's the best set I can give to a Bomber. Funny enough, the absolute best set I can give to a Bomber is using a fight room because that's the only way how you can get extra stats from a slot 3. And that's a pretty solid set, I would say so myself. Does still have a few grinds over here, this one not, and these are just kind of like that. Fair bit amount of attack, so let's add in the highest bomb damage I have, which is an 18 right now, and yeah, that's pretty much the main reason why I'm using this over the John, because that's just a little bit higher than I would ever have for a John. So we're looking at 33% bomb damage. On a 1/10 speed, sure, the accuracy is a little bit lacking, but, well, we just get the idea, I guess. I could have easily fixed more accuracy in here somewhere or in that slot, but fuck it, we want most damage. Okay, speed tune is in order. Let's see how much bomb damage this will be. I actually have no clue how much bomb damage this will be. I'm thinking a pretty high number, to be honest, but let's see, how much bomb damage are we looking at? We got all bombs. Let's add in the extra bomb on you. We cannot slow down this process right here, but let's just pause it. Okay, that's already 12k. How much bomb damage? 51k bomb damage. Well, let's say 52k, and then the Sierra also did do the extra bomb damage over there. But 52k for bomb damage. That's a high hitter right there. Let's see if the Geralt does do more damage than 51k or less. So we can use this to add in any unit in the game. Let's get that one over here. And can we actually have a way of selecting the whole set of the other one? Right over there? No, apparently not. Okay, we just got to copy the whole thing ourselves. Well, it's relatively easy to find. It's just whatever we find on the first site. Over here with the Lively over there, and over there, and over there. And then over here, where are you at? This one. I could have added more accuracy in this one as well. Because right now, let's just add in actually the more accuracy. Let's go for this. Is that still in tune? No, that's actually not in tune. Okay, fuck it then, no accuracy. We're just pray that we land on, otherwise we reset anyways. So yeah, you can see the big difference. Oh wait, we didn't have the artifacts just yet, so let's also add in the artifacts. It's going to be a little bit different over here. I do have a 16 bomb damage on HP. Why the hell do I even have that? Sure, so we even have more bomb damage than we had with the other one. We only don't have the attack increasing effect in here. So that's a little bit of a downside over there. Wait, do I just have a random attack increasing effect? Because, fuck it, I don't mind to give that as well. No, we don't. Well, I have enough things to make it work. Let's just see if this doesn't take the long time lapse of this taking an insane long time of getting the right thing in. It would be so nice if you can just select it like, yo, I want this stat and just keep rolling until it rolls this stat. And how much it costs, I don't give a shit. And then you wake up tomorrow and you lost all of your mana and you lost all of this and it still didn't upgrade the shitty thing. But yeah, if you're looking for a very specific stat, it would be very nice if you don't have to go through this process yourself altogether all the time, because this is quite a tedious process and it takes a little bit of, yeah, it just can take very long. Okay, there we have it. Nice. That's, wait, an 8. That's actually, okay, that's faster than expected. Thank you very much. Normally it doesn't happen that fast. Okay, we are right for the speed tuning. Yes, sir. We do lose about 500 attack because of the base attack being that much lower. So that's why you see the multipliers of that coming in already. But let's just see. We don't have the extra accuracy, or do you have some extra accuracy in this skill as well? We do have higher activation rate, but okay, I'm not too sure. We can also try this, but first let's try like the fair test of a one-to-one translation. And then we're going to see a few people using it in RTA, because I've seen some people use it in RTA already. I'm also will showcase you what the best bomb team is for arena offense. So let's see, do we land all bombs? We missed 2 bombs. That's kind of fine. We're just looking at the 2 bombs on the right side. Wait, is this Sierra going to be doing too much damage? 58. Wait. We're going to rewatch that. That was, I think it was 58, but I'm not 100% sure about that. So can we get the bombs? Oh, one more time. Bomb in there. Okay, we didn't get the bomb in that one. Let's just let it explode. Let it rip. 60k bomb. Wow. So wait, that does actually mean that he is the strongest bomber in game the moment that you have enough buffs. That is interesting. And that's actually by a substantial amount. We were looking like, what, 51k bombs from the other one? That's a fair bit amount. That actually makes him the best bomber in game by just straight up damage. I would say that Indian John still has a little bit extra value by the other things, but he did become best bomber in game, and by a fair amount. So that's about an upgrade of like, what, 15 to 20-ish% in damage? That's definitely not bad. So where would I use that in arena offense? Well, arena offense, I would definitely go for a team like this. I think that this is the strongest bomber offense in the game. Don't look at the speeds right now. You want the fastest set on this, second fast set on that, of course. Why is this strongest team in game? Well, you will drop the attack buff on this one over here. You have a very fast base speed by the 113. And you have a reset with this. So if there's any like annoying things such as a Samath that might cut you and start dealing a lot of damage, or a aerial or anything annoying, then you can still reset that over here. And you push back all of the cooldowns. Plus you can give a ventilate towards your bomber or towards the Sierra as well. So I think that this is by far strongest team in game. I do think a lot of people would be more looking towards a team something along the lines of this, and then double bomber is definitely good if you do work with slower teams that you're fighting. But if you're working with fastest teams that you're fighting, the other team is most likely a lot stronger. Plus, you have to do less value of actually not getting cut or anything. Because in this case, to follow up on, let's say you make this like 220 or whatnot, you do have to have pretty fast bombers to also follow up. Whereas if you work with the Ganymede, then you can work with a bit slower of a bomber in the first place. So, and then of course the 4th slot is then for the Dark Geralt or any bomber you would like to use. Is it the greatest thing out there in the first place? Not really. You're still by the mercy of the strips and the bombs and all of that kind of good stuff, which can definitely fill in this game. But let's look at some RTA matches where people do use Dark Geralt, because I did see a few players actually play a fair bit of Dark Geralt. And one of those was Hanselot, and he plays a lot of matches and he picks it in the first pick. Does it therefore mean that it's strong? Not necessarily. Like, especially if there's some players out there like a Hanselot or me or an Obabo. If we play things, we just play things to try to test things. We play things just for fun and that kind of stuff, especially early on the season. First picking Dark Geralt is definitely not one of those things that you would be like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But let's see how strong it is over here. So we do get the Tatsuya being buffed up. Okay, we reset that. That's fine. Do we get some stuns? 0 stuns over there. Do we get any hits with this? If it does miss on the Geralt, would be a nice position. Does actually land fully on the Geralt. Okay, starts resetting that. So I guess Geralt doesn't get too much play in here. Sierra definitely deals, still get bombs off. High damage on that. Despair Sierra. Despair Sierra is super common if you pair that with the Twin Angels. Geralt did absolutely nothing over there, but it was still a victory. Let's see if we find a match where it's more likely to do anything. Okay, let's see in this one. Does he outspeed? He does outspeed. He does boost up everything. Okay, so let's see with the boost. We do also get an attack buff over here. We get 2 buffs. We land all of that. He does actually stun on that hit as well. Wait, does he despair or does he just straight up stun? No, I think he straight up stuns. So there's a lot of CC coming in for that. So because it's a stun plus a bomb. That's actually really insane. It is worse against Camillas, though, because Camillas you will already probably crit at some point. So it's definitely worse against that, but interesting take one on that. So let's actually see a proper match, which is not like a goodwill match. Let's see what the one over here looks like, because he's playing into a Hey Gang, which is definitely a little bit more troublesome for you in the first place. Also playing into a Josephine. So let's see, boosting up the Geralt. Okay, does already get that. Does actually get provoked and does take the additional turn. Typical Josephine over there. Let's see if you take the turn in front. Yeah, you do take the turn in front. Can you boost it right up with you? No, actually it does get stunned itself. So nothing to boost up at this moment. Josephine doing Josephine things. Well, he did still show that he's winning this match. Does look on the back foot right now with all the additional turns, but then it does mean that you have more chance to additional turn yourself later as well. Also, fair bit of immunity up on the whole team, so that's also really not helping. Especially with HP, it's looking really grim for this whole match. So I'm curious to see if this match at some point comes down to the Geralt taking one turn and completely taking over the match right now. Okay, we go for the bombs. Does land the bombs. Does land it on all of them. Did get a fair bit of stuns as well. Another Josephine additional turn. Definitely taking the additional turns over there. Bomb hit over there. Once again, Josephine turn right there. We go for the Owl of Wisdom or whatever. Wise Owl. We go for Dancing Star bombs again. More CC. Double turn bomb. Okay. I see the value in there. It's definitely not the greatest thing out there, but I definitely do see the value in there. No skills right now. Additional turns itself. Fair additional turn because there were so many additional turns on the other side already. Lots of CC. It's definitely more of a CC unit. It's more of like a chip CC unit than a full bomb damage on unit as he's using it in this case. But it's seemingly working out. Like there's so many bombs on every unit right now that's just taking things out one by one. Even when having a bad luck RNG match. Might you say he's using that with a bunch of extra LDs, and because of the other LDs, anything that in that slot was there could have probably worked? Arguably. Arguably yes, but let's see a different player if we see some more Geralts on that. Let's see what other players would like to use with it. Okay, let's see. Do we have any matches higher up? No, not that much higher up. Let's just see what we have. So reset into bombs. Okay, that's why is this guy still playing 4-star Special League? You don't still have to play 4-star Special League. Ooh, this is an interesting one with a cleave. This one is just bad for not having any strips. Yeah, that's one of those things. Like, if you want to play like a cleave-ish kind of style, you probably still need some strips. What the hell is this thing doing over there? So you take the first turn, and then you take the second turn, and then you take the third turn, and then absolutely nothing is happening. How is that rotation, brother? What are you drafting? Okay, predict the future. Yep. Shatter coming in. Yep. And fair enough damage. Do you get bombs on everything plus stuns on everything? Okay, it does get bombs on the most important, which is actually the yeah, like that was nice. Like the double, like the bomb plus the stun over there does work out actually. That's actually pretty interesting. Does it work too often? I'm not sure. I think it's still very susceptible to like cleanses and those kind of things. More like Junos and whatnot. But let's see, it does go for that one. It does make sense. I think you have to build it somewhat tanky-ish in the first place. Actually, doesn't take it out. We have to go for the cleanse over here. With the cleanse over here, we do have the CC over here. Do we get actually the strips? Not the most amount of strips right there. Definitely was aiming for that NFL because the NFL is pretty strong in its own regard right now. Because of that kill sprayer. So yeah, that's definitely a little bit of an issue. How long are the cooldowns? So violent on that. Interesting. Not sure if I'm the biggest fan of that. We do have an insane amount of buffs right there. Cooldown is pretty lengthy. That is definitely a little bit of an issue. Kraka actually doing a lot of work over here, taking out those units. So in this case, I would say the Dark Geralt has been nothing else than just like a focused target as of thus far. Also, the moment that the bombs are cleansed, it will take pretty long to get all of those skills back. And probably now you go into stun cycling. Actually, missed a lot of skills over there. Wow. RNG gun RNG. Yeah, otherwise he would have probably had the skill 3 up faster again. Good damage on that. Okay, fair damage on that. That's a lot of damage. More despairs, more violence, no more sleeps. Why would you not go for an S3 over there? Okay. Well, I guess he tried to kill it. But then you would have had a revive. Well, you're kind of done from this moment anyways. So would I say it's a good unit? Not sure. I think for bombing, if you would like to try some more bombs and stuff, it is not bad. It's strongest bomber in game, and this is a 29 speed, just letting you know. Okay, not that much of a 29 speed. But yeah, best bomber in game by damage. Best bomber in game by utilities. Not sure, because in the end, if I were to go for a bomb, I might still go for a John, because you have the one-turn bomb on the one target and the cooldown increase, which is really strong. Plus, while landing a bomb, you don't actually hit the enemy. Because of hitting the enemy, technically you do deal a lot more damage, but you cannot fight Camillas with this. So not being able to fight Camillas with this in arena offense makes it a little bit bad. Bombing in siege offense is mostly a little bit too RNG. So does he really have a best in slot spot? I'm not sure. I would have rather seen him still, but Countess never likes these kind of buffs, where he would get a 100% guaranteed bomb land the moment that he had like 3 or 4 buffs. But Countess doesn't like anything that removes RNG. Countess likes to add more RNG. So yeah, that's definitely a buff we're never going to see. At least he's usable right now. He's still definitely not top-notch, but he's definitely not the biggest meme of like the most shit unit in game, because other units still take that pile. No names, where's that hell? Yeah, you're probably still worst in game, arguably. That's yeah, definitely. So at least they're kind of chipping other units for being a little bit better. But yep, just testing out new unit. In the end, bust bomb damage in game. Interesting to use, maybe so. Not 100% sure, but he can definitely be used hero there. If there's any unit from the balance match you would like to see me try out, let me know in the comment section, and see you as always in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you would like to see more guides, join the Discord and check out the content tab for the guide video archive, which contains all of the guides that you might need. Hope to see you there.